The original Captain Marvel, otherwise known as Shazam, finally hit theaters and introduced the world to Billy Batson, the young boy whose life is forever changed when the wizard Shazam gives him the power of 6 gods. Shazam is essentially a one-man Justice League with the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, the stamina of Atlas, the power of Zeus, the courage of Achilles, and the speed of Mercury. After jumping from one foster home to another while searching for his real mom, Billy Batson ends up in a group home for foster children. He's reluctant to join their family at first, but Freddy, the young crippled boy, slowly wins him over with his enthusiasm and positive nature. When Freddy is attacked by school bullies, Billy interferes on Freddy's behalf. After getting some good hits on the bullies, Billy runs off to escape the two. This leads him to the wizard Shazam. Shazam has been looking for a replacement for years now. His search has become a bit of an urban legend among other would-be contenders. One such contender was Thaddeus Sivana. Sivana was summoned to the wizard decades prior, but was ultimately not chosen due to his failure to fight temptation. But the experience made Sivana obsessed about finding the wizard. He eventually does and gets powers of his own after freeing the 7 deadly sins. The wizard Shazam now knows he must choose quickly and chooses Billy as his replacement. He gives Billy all of his magic powers, which turns Billy into a grown man. The only problem is he doesn't tell Billy what those powers are or how to use them. Billy seeks out Freddy, and together the two go on a mission to find out everything Billy can do as the new Shazam. Of course, they record it all and upload each video on YouTube, making Shazam an internet sensation. Before long, Thaddeus Sivana and the Sins seek out the new Shazam, knowing he is the only one that can stop them. Spoiler alert, proceed at your own risk. Okay, what's good about this movie? Director David Sandberg, who's known for his horror short films such as Lights Out, which was later adapted into a major motion picture, and then later on Annabelle Creation, was actually able to balance the camp, humor, action, drama, and of course, a bit of horror in this film perfectly. We get a satisfying origin story that makes you care about all the characters involved. Anyone that has read DC's New 52 relaunch of Shazam, written by Geoff Johns and illustrated by Gary Frank, will be quick to notice how closely it follows the graphic novel. And the climax, which is lifted directly from the graphic novel, is fantastic when Shazam realizes the true power of Shazam and the entire family is then given the powers of Shazam. Mark Strong, who's always a great on-screen presence, once again shines in the film. He was the best thing about 2011's Green Lantern when he portrayed one of the greatest villains of all time, Sinestro. Well, here he plays Dr. Sivana, another supervillain, and plays the part perfectly. The only downside to this performance is that it pretty much guarantees he will never return as Sinestro in the upcoming Green Lantern Corps film. But that was to be expected anyway, since it is a reboot. One of my favorite parts of this film is actually the mid-credits scene when the Caterpillar visits Sivana while in prison. For those who don't know, the Caterpillar is Mr. Mind. He is a telepathic genius caterpillar that is among Shazam's top 3 supervillains, along with Black Adam and of course Dr. Sivana. This sets him up to be the villain in the sequel, and since the worm actually leads the monster society of evil, you can bet he will keep the entire Marvel family busy. So what's bad about this film? Fans of the graphic novel will be quick to recognize that Black Adam was omitted from the film version. He was omitted because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has had his eye on the role for over 10 years now, and Warner Brothers wanted to give him his own solo origin film first. We can expect Johnson to appear as Black Adam in the Shazam sequel after that. I'm betting he will be in the 3rd film, since they need to go into production on the sequel for Shazam rather fast to have the kids still be young. So the sequel will most likely come out around the same time as Black Adam, leaving the 3rd Shazam film to be a sequel to both films. So even though it's disappointing he didn't make it into this film, it will ultimately be a good thing in the end when he is fully realized in his solo film, which is most likely going to be set in ancient Egypt. Since they were able to add Mr. Mind, I think it would have been pretty cool to see Mr. Takitani, the talking tiger, make an appearance in the film as well. They did reference a stuffed animal tiger a couple times, and I can only assume Tani is why. Maybe we'll get to see him in an upcoming sequel. So what's the verdict? This was a fun film all around and another testament to Geoff Johns. I believe Warner Brothers let Johns go as president entirely too soon. So why credit Johns? Well, Johns rewrote most of Wonder Woman, but couldn't get credit due to some guild rules. Then, the Aquaman film is based on a story he wrote, and now Shazam is based on his story as well. Johns is practically responsible for the 3 biggest successes in the DC film franchise. But regardless of the politics behind the scenes, this is a fun movie that the entire family can enjoy. It isn't as epic or large scale as Wonder Woman or Aquaman, but it also didn't have the massive budgets that those did either. Shazam is a great addition to the franchise, and with Warner Brothers already greenlighting the sequel, we won't have to wait long for more. I give DC's Shazam 7.5 stars. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for future content.